hearing this challenge of climate for last couple of decades, and we always get messages throughout the world, through various channels, whether it is media, whether it is social media, that there is a challenge of climate and we all have to take care of it. If I can tell you responsibly that there is no challenge of climate, and don't get into this myth or this, narration building by the West that there is a challenge of climate. This was built so that we are out of the race of becoming the top 3 economy. All these centuries journal, when they were digging holes in the Mother Earth, digging out minerals, they were punching holes in the orbits, setting their satellites. Nothing happened. One rocket, when it goes up, how much carbon emission is done? Nobody calculates that. But when I drive one scooter from Noida to this place, you tell me about carbon emission. So we should blow the lead off of this. We would like to be in the race. We would like to place this motherland in the highest position possible. If not 4, why not number 3 in the economical race? Yes, we will address this concern of climate with taking advantage of this, and what it has been said truly, that make an opportunity out of this challenge. And I'm sure we all will be hearing the next couple of hours about this. But one thing which I would like to put to everybody in front of us is, I remember a philosopher who told one line in Hindi, "Shaktishali desh apni baat manwane mein saksham hota hai." Powerful nations can make you to agree to them. And then see today, when I see our youngsters, they talk about climate change, climate challenges, and they advise us not to do things. I would like to talk to you about something which is geospatial technology. And with the contest, 2 small examples which will set the agenda of the day probably. I come from Mumbai. We have been traveling in local trains. I was appointed governing council member in CRS of Railways, and those days minister was Suresh Prabhuji. And he raised one concern. He said, "Vinit, when we were traveling in local train, there used to be an announcement, platform change." How many of you have seen this platform change in the railways? And you jump from one platform, so almost half the hands have raised it. And you see accidents, people fall. Youngsters like us, they fall. So what about, pregnant ladies, senior citizens, people with bags? There are accidents which are minor accidents and sometimes fatalic accident. Can we do something with IT? And this was one challenge. Second challenge, there are these railways which are genuine problem, and the railways don't originate from every city possible, every station possible. Sometimes you are in a place which is in the mid of the journey, and the train arrival time, estimated time is around say 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. Now think about the challenge. You have to go to the station in the 3 o'clock in the morning, you will get up, get ready, and the challenge couples, it increases if a young girl has to go. The family is concerned about her safety, and so is the police who are there about the law and order situation. Let me make it more complex for you. You go to the station at 2 o'clock in the morning and the train does not arrive, and you wait there till 9 o'clock in the morning. What runs in your mind? One, you're angry with the railways. The second thing is, bata dete yaar, late aane wale, to ghar se tayar hoke aate, ye challenges nahi hota. And is anybody happy with that? Even the law and order situation, the LEAs are also very unhappy because they also have to put their vigils up so that nothing untoward happens. So this was the second challenge. And then you heard Prime Minister speaking from the Red Fort, use of space in railways. And everybody wondered, what was it? And that was use of the geospatial technology to tell you exactly where is the locomotive, where is your coach going to come. And today, if you search the app, it will tell you exactly plus or minus 3 minutes where the Indian Railway locomotive is attended, where is your train. So what you can do is, you cannot solve the problem of late coming or timing, but you can always plan your journey and you will reach in time. Now the question is, what's great in this? And you didn't invent the wheel, because we always had these maps on our mobile which helped us to travel. Why can't we use this technology which was available? So on the board, we were 2 of us, myself and General Lamba, we were there. And we thought that we should not use technology which will compromise our sovereignty. You cannot have any of your friend or advisories or deemed friend who will be your advisory or deemed advisory who will be your friend to access your data of railways, because railways not only transport passengers, but also transport strategic forces. There are other goods, equipments, and we didn't want that our manifest should be known to neighbors or to our friends in the other continents. So we had to use something which is indigenous, which was developed by our own people, trusted people, and I'm very proud that it's been done. This is one example which I gave you. And who were going to implement this? Thoughtful people, educated people, IRS, IRTS, they are all educated people. Who were going to use it? Railway man was going to use it. But does the technology is available for somebody who is not educated, illiterate? Sir, I had an opportunity to take 42 students to the ISRO command center under the guise of MMGIS. And we had interaction with the former chairman of ISRO. These young students, they were talking. Students from 8th standard, 9th standard. On 13th of December, we did an interaction. And Kiran Kumar, former chairman of ISRO, told us that they thanked the fishermen who helped them to put in the first rocket in place by creating something with NAVIC, which will tell them where exactly is the fish. So when you go to the high sea, if you understand the sea, they have to wait along, they put their net, and then it's their luck whether they get the fish or not. Now, this is challenging many times economically, not a good proposition. But by use of satellites, by use of geospatial technology, if a fisherman is not educated, can just see a diagram where he has to reach, he originates from his coast and goes to the location specifically where there is a herd of this fish, there is a bunch of these fishes, catches and comes back. The cost of the catch is less, so it is economical. 2, the risk of losing life is less. Now, these two examples, whether it is railway or whether it is this thing, talks to me in one certain thing. It's the utility of this particular technology. While General Khandare would be talking to you, and I'm sure all of you know that General Khandare is PVSM, AVSM, SM, and he used to head the Defense Intelligence Agency as Director General, and he used this technology a lot of times for non-kinetic warfare. Sir, kinetic warfare creates a lot of dust and pollution issue, and I'm sure people talk about this, but I don't know whether you have ever thought Ukraine and Russia is a lot of interest to us and to everybody in the world, and I'm sure General will touch upon that one particular part, where we saw the use of technology as a weapon in the war. And geospatial is one of the weapons which has been used very, very efficiently in the conflict which is going on between Ukraine and Russia. And maybe probably we may see this as a study and also an opportunity which is there. So while you touch upon the strategic part of that particular part, I'm sure we should also understand this climate challenge gives us an opportunity not only in the business world, but there is a lot of opportunity way beyond the B2B segment, whereby you can place your assets in the orbit. There, it has been opening market. We are very firm. One of you would be thinking of putting their own satellites in the orbit, and Government of India would be someday very happy to assist this particular part. At the same time, can this technology be used for G2C services, government to citizen services? Can this be used for C2C services, citizens to citizen services? So think about a situation. If you go to places like Sikkim, I heard a conversation in the morning when on the breakfast table, and General was referring about Sikkim. Sir, I traveled from Darjeeling, Mirik to Peling, and that small distance took 9 hours for me to travel. It was very hard journey. But if you can use the technology and make easier life. For example, we stay in Mumbai, Delhi, and these places, and whenever we need services of pathology, we just call up one of these labs. They come, collect the samples. The samples go back to the pathological lab, and we get the report in a day, or maybe sometimes even in hours. Think about these people who stay in Peling. Think about the people who stay in mountains of Himachal. How many hours will somebody take to reach that one particular hamlet to collect that blood sample? And then how would the samples travel to the lab? And then the reports will travel over the technology. Can we put in drones, or can we put in manned vehicles which will go to the top of these houses, collect the sample, deliver the sample to the city center, get the lab reports come up and reaches to this person? We can save a lot of life. General, people are waiting to listen to you. But before I end my conversation, I'll give you one example of technology being used by somebody who's not related, who never went to school. And I was very happy about this, and I generally talk about this particular example. This is about my native place, which comes in Junjunu, Navalgarh. Accidentally, General, we give the maximum men in the uniform to the Indian Army. The highest number of men come from my village. So here, this gentleman was around 70, 75 years old, a small farmer, very micro farmer, maybe having 3 biga or 4 biga. And he had a challenge. There was a pest which was sitting on the leaf. Now, in a traditional way or in a conventional way, they take this leaf and they take this pest. Then they travel to the city, go to the agricultural officer. Agriculture officer then recommends what is the treatment to this particular pest. and then they come back and administer it. Now think about somebody traveling for Navalgarh to Junjunu and then coming back and expecting that their officer is waiting for him. Now you all know that officers have their own priorities and their own schedules, and he may be anywhere in the country, he may be attending some program in Niti Ayog or somewhere else probably. How would you go to it? And every minute lost is lost to that crop, which is then in turn lost to the GDP of this country. This uneducated farmer who has not gone to the formal education takes a photograph of this particular leaf, the pest, and sends a WhatsApp to the agriculture officer. Agriculture officer is aware that he is not educated. So what he does is, he takes a photograph of the pesticide and writes something down, 1:100. This farmer goes to the pesticide center, shows him that message and the photograph. The pesticide guy looks at that and now he understands what is the molecule being suggested to him. But he was confused whether it is 50 mg or 100 mg. So what he does is, he puts a question to the agriculture officer, sir, whether it is 50 mg or 100 mg. And he says, if it is 50 mg, you multiply it 100 times water. If it is 100, then you put 200 times. And this all thing happens in couple of minutes, or maybe rather 1 or 2 hours. I'm deliberately giving an example of somebody who is not educated, not gone to formal listening. He comes back to his farm, sprays this pesticide, saves his farm. He does not have to go and beg in front of anybody for money. He does not rely on the charity. Rather, he does not rely on your taxpayers' money because he can earn his own money. He's not a burden on the Aadhaar or Narega. Think about this kind of utilities. The technology behind this, I'm sure you all know that the technology is the part which was bridging this particular gap which was earlier there. You are all talented people, far sharper than me at least, if not sharper than General and Mr. Sinha. I beg to you, I folded hand. Make technology which can be utilized by people who are simple, not educated, which can change the course of this country. If you can add even a rupee to his earning, probably we will be very happy. And the last part, we as Indian, we have something in our DNA that we have been talking about, Ayushman Bhava. Live long life, disease-free life, disaster-free life, distress-free life. If the technology can contribute in the health side, which is one of the agendas of Disha, think about this, how we can bring this, we can narrow the gap of haves and have-nots. I think we'll be really happy. Janal, I would not like to stand between you and the people here. And everybody, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.